This is RTV6 News at 5:30, working for you.
And now at 5:30, with so many people out of work and education, has never been more important. The opportunity that helps adults fill a key gap in their education for free.
The robot sweeper, the golf bag, just a number of the things to remember two young girls and to build a memorial park. I'm Rafael Sanchez. That story coming up on RTV6.
Here's what we're talking about today in our lineup. With the fall comes concerns about the flu season, why some companies say that could push COVID-19 testing to its limits. Plus, summer camps are underway across the country, how they could serve as an example of a way to help reopen schools safely. A new concern when it comes to the danger surrounding kids and hot cars, why advocates say you should keep a close eye on your little ones at home.
And first at 5:30, the pandemic has left many Hoosiers without a job. RTV6's Kelsey Anderson is working for you with details about a program that can help you further your education for free while you might be waiting to go back to work.
After the mandatory shutdown earlier this year, many people found themselves reevaluating their career choices. Did they have an essential job, and did they qualify to do anything else? At Crystal House Doors, they are working tirelessly to help adult Hoosiers get their high school diplomas so they can pave a new pathway for themselves. The adult high school is for anyone 18 or older. Emily Massengale was the founding principal of Crystal House Doors, and she tells me last year they had students from age 18 all the way to 73. The tuition is free, but it doesn't stop there. They also provide transportation assistance, connect you with a mentor who can help you for 5 years after graduation, and oftentimes students leave with college credits or certificates in trade work.
The heartbreaking part is a lot of them says, no one has ever told me I can do this before. No one has believed that I could do this. And, our staff is so supportive. Almost all of our alumni say it's like a family there, not a school.
They plan to start school on August 12th, and enrollment is always open. The adult high school program is offered at 3 sites, including Crystal House Academy South, Crystal House Academy West, and at the Ivy Tech North Meridian Center building. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
And if that is not an option for you, perhaps you'll find your next job opportunity when RTV6 and the Indiana Black Expo team up for the virtual Hiring Hoosiers Employment Opportunity Fair. It is next Thursday, July 30th from noon until 4 p.m. Quality employers are coming together to help you take the next steps in your career. And immediate job openings are available. To get connected, visit IndianaBlackExpo.com. Kyle.
And Amanda, some pretty nice weather here to end the week, and kind of hard to believe we are heading into the final weekend of July here. We've got some warmer temperatures that are going to be coming our way, but right now we sit in the lower 80s in downtown. Quite a bit of sunshine out there, also helping us out with that feel better temperature. Yeah, it's 51% for the humidity out there. So again, very comfortable with that calm north breeze. Temperatures are generally running in the lower to middle 80s for us. I think somebody flipped the furnace on in Connorsville, not quite believing that 90-degree reading there. But we've had an area of high pressure building in. That's taken all the shower and thunderstorm activity, pushed it down to the south. That's also where all the humidity has gone as well. So a nice evening if you want to head out and fire up the grill for dinner. We've got temperatures that are going to be in the lower half of the 80s there with partly sunny skies. Don't have to worry about any rainfall there. And in fact, as we look at the weekend forecast, we've got that chance for an isolated rain shower. But I think most of us are going to get through the weekend dry without a drop of rain here. So you're good to mow both Saturday and Sunday. But we'll take a closer look at that increasing chance for rain as we go into next week here in just a little bit. Jessica.
The CDC's new additional guidance for school districts puts a strong emphasis on getting children back into classrooms. They include some of the basics we already know that can help make it as safe as possible. Things like hand washing, disinfecting regularly, wearing masks and social distancing. Also making sure the same students and staff stay together throughout the day. It also mentions repurposing unused or underused areas of a school or even going outside to increase classroom size. Having proactive plans for if a student or staff member tests positive and coordinating case tracing with local health officials.
The answer to how kids and families go back to school still is going to very much remain, I think, an individual kind of family decision that involves a lot of factors.
Child psychiatrist Dr. Larry Mittenall reminds parents that you know your child best. Factors that matter include which learning environment is most beneficial for your child academically and which best meets their developmental needs. Families struggling with the decision of in-person or virtual learning don't have to make that decision alone.
Your child's, child psychiatrist or pediatrician is also going to know the lay of the land in terms of the statistics for your area, in terms of what the relative risks are depending on where you live. And so they can give you a very realistic appreciation for guidelines and guidances for your particular child.
When it comes to social interaction at school, know that the new CDC considerations say extracurricular activities should be limited when social distancing isn't possible. The CDC updated guidance also says schools should take into account the level of community transmission, but did not give any specific threshold. Look for more expert advice next week about sending your child back to school safely. A new study is looking into how moms can help protect their newborns. The study published Thursday says keeping babies in enclosed cribs 6 feet from mom helped. That doesn't include when they're breastfeeding. Moms wearing masks and following proper hand and breast washing procedures also helped. Ahead in the lineup, experts are warning the upcoming flu season could be creating a big problem for coronavirus testing.
If we can't fix testing, then disease control strategies, as we have them designed currently, won't work.
What the companies that handle testing say needs to be done to be able to deal with the potential surge.
A big turnout is expected tomorrow for an annual ride to benefit a memorial park for 2 girls killed in Delphi. The Kitley Inn in Indianapolis has been working on raffle baskets for the annual event. Proceeds from that and the 4th annual bike ride raised dollars for the Abby Williams and Libby German Memorial Park in Carroll County. The girls were killed in February of 2017, and despite the international attention, there have been no arrests. The ride hopes to remind people not to give up.
Until they find the person that actually committed this crime, I'd like to stay with the ride to help them with the memorial park.
You can still participate in the event. It's tomorrow at the Kitley Inn located at 825 South Kitley Avenue here in Indianapolis. Registration is at 9. The ride begins at noon. It's $25 per person or $35 per couple. For more info, you can call 317-357-3160.
We're already dealing with delays in getting COVID-19 test results. Now, U.S. lab giant Quest Diagnostics is warning about testing capacity as we look towards the fall flu season. A company executive tells the Financial Times they won't be able to boost capacity relying only on nasal swab tests. A doctor who previously worked at the CDC agrees other types of tests that work well will be important in the testing strategy. He tells us it's not clear right now where the bottlenecks in the testing process are happening.
It's somewhere along the lines, whether it's the workforce that has to conduct the test, the supplies that needed to do the test, the machines needed to run the tests, wherever, and the problems might not be the same in every area, but ultimately what that's led to is that, from the time I give my specimen to the time I'm notified of the result, it's just way too long, and in some places over a week.
He and other public health experts want states to start publicly reporting testing turnaround times to help address the delays. CDC guidelines recommend that states lifting virus restrictions have a testing turnaround time of under 4 days.
Getting people to kind of take proactive public health action in terms of isolation, if they have symptoms, for example, I think is something that we need to push if we are in a situation where the tests aren't going to be coming back in a timely manner, and that's going to be the case, for the near future.
He says places that have in-house testing, like a university or state hospital system, tend to get test results back faster right now. So that could be something to consider if you have the option to choose where you get tested. Quest has urged healthcare providers to cut down on tests for people without symptoms or who haven't had contact with someone who has tested positive. The CDC also recently issued new recommendations against retesting most COVID-19 patients to confirm they have recovered. Next in the lineup, some police departments are trying a new tactic to help connect with their citizens. We're taking you to one city where officers live in the heart of the communities they serve. Many police departments continue to struggle to reflect the diversity of the cities and municipalities they police. One city grappling with violent crime is embedding officers in the thick of it. Usher Qureshi has a story.
18-year police force veteran Patrice Turner knows these streets like the back of her hand.
This is my stomping grounds. I used to walk up and down this street, when I went to West Middle School here.
She grew up here in Rockford, a town about 75 miles northwest of Chicago that has one of the highest crime rates in the country.
I drive through the lot and make sure it's okay. It's actually been robbed a few times.
For the last 3 years, she's been part of a unique policing program, working as a resident officer community keeper, or ROC.
They're actually living in that community. They have a car, squad car, that they take home that's parked in front of their house. And their job really is to build capacity, build trust within that community.
Go on, go pee real quick.
Turner lives rent-free, embedded in the community.
Come on.
Her name and number boldly displayed outside her house.
Come on, Shia. So, yeah, there is little sense of anonymity, that's for sure.
Police residency requirements fell out of favor in the early 20th century. According to government data, in 75 U.S. cities with the largest police forces, on average 60% of police officers live outside the city limits. Multiple studies over the years suggest residency requirements don't necessarily translate to public confidence in the police.
How you guys doing? I haven't seen you in forever.
Still, the ROC program hopes personal interaction will build trust at a time when relations between police and communities of color across the nation are inflamed. Turner knows mending those relationships won't come until the fractures of the past are dealt with.
Hey, Mr. Jeremy.
She says she's trying to do that as an officer.
You good?
Who has a vested stake in the community.
You form stronger bonds. People no longer see you as just a police officer. They see you as a human. They see the officer as the person behind that uniform. So, if I had it my way, I would have even more officers live within the city, live in the area in which they police.
Reporting from Rockford, Illinois, I'm Usher Qureshi.
And a programming note, if you are a Dish Network customer, our parent company Scripps and Dish are currently in contract negotiations, and the station may go dark tonight if an agreement is not reached in time. If you are a Dish customer, you can call Dish and express your concern. And WRTV is still producing news for you, and you can still watch WRTV News if this channel does go dark. You can always find us at theindychannel.com, or you can watch us on the RTV6 streaming apps on Roku, Android TV, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, the RTV6 app, and over the air with an antenna. Kyle.
And we have enjoyed a lot of sunshine today, but also those slightly better humidity levels. That's been coupled with some of that July warmth out there as well. Temperatures right now are running in the lower to middle 80s. But that humidity is only at about 50% with a temperature of 82 in Indy, 84 in Kokomo and Bloomington at 85. That wind is very light and a non-factor. As we look at your weekend forecast here Saturday, going to be very similar to today. We'll add just a couple of degrees to the thermometer there with a high of 87. Then on Sunday, we'll take another shot at that 90-degree mark, and we'll have more humidity as well. Just a spotty shower or thunderstorm chance. Again, most of us are going to stay dry. So as we start off the weekend, pretty comfortable temperatures overnight tonight as we'll fall back into the lower and middle 60s across central Indiana. 64 in Richmond and Lafayette, 66 on the thermometer early Saturday morning in Indianapolis. And as we take an hour-by-hour look at your Saturday forecast, we start off with that sunshine. We'll see a few clouds as we get into the afternoon, but no threat of rain there for the first half of the weekend, as those temperatures are already at 82 at noon, 86 for that afternoon high. And as we look across central Indiana, we'll find temperatures close to 90 Saturday in Bloomington, while you're at 85 in Kokomo, and Rushville coming in at 86 degrees. Sunday, again, we'll be going closer to that 90-degree mark, so if you can find an area like a splash pad to cool off, that'll be a nice spot and pretty popular, I'm sure, as well, with temperatures hovering around 90 degrees. A few more clouds, and as we look at TrueCast at 5 o'clock Sunday evening, you can see a couple of those showers mainly closer to the Ohio River. Then our attention turns toward the northwest as we go into the day on Monday. That will be a better chance for some widespread rain across the area. A few thunderstorms that will move through as well, but it moves pretty quickly. So as we get into early Tuesday, that rain is already to the south, and at this point looks like we'll bring about a half inch or less of rainfall to the area. We certainly could use some rain, not a whole lot of it in the 7-day planning forecast, though. Things are dry and pretty comfortable as we have those highs in the lower to middle 80s for much of next week. Jessica?
Turning to the news. newsfeed. Some San Francisco Lyft drivers say the rideshare company is making them buy their own PPE. Because drivers are considered independent contractors, Lyft doesn't have to provide PPE under California law. Lyft says it has provided tens of thousands of drivers with supplies and that drivers can go to a hub to get PPE. Amtrak is beefing up its mask policy. It says if a passenger doesn't wear one, they could be removed or even banned. The only places people can remove masks now is if they're in a private room. Southwest is beefing up its policies as well. Passengers must wear masks everywhere in the airport starting Monday. American Airlines will make a similar change on Wednesday. People can remove face coverings if they're eating or drinking. Most Americans are in favor of wearing masks outside their homes. In a new AP NORC poll, 3 out of 4 said they support face coverings. That includes a majority of Republicans. 89% of Democrats say they're in favor of masks. 58% of Republicans agreed. About 2/3 of Americans do not approve of how President Trump is handling the pandemic. The poll was taken before the president first advocated for masks this week. Sometimes the smallest voices can be the most impactful when it comes to getting people to act as safe as possible.
My question is, which is more important, carrying on with your partying or sending the kids to school? It's kind of unfair that us kids have to suffer while the grown-ups are still just having fun. I want them to wear masks. I want them to do everything to keep each other safe, to keep us safe, too.
This Nashville area 5th grader is putting her thoughts about people not wearing masks or social distancing on paper. She then mails the letters to local bars. Her hope is to be able to return to school safely soon. Summer camps are a rite of passage for millions of kids, but this year COVID-19 changed all of that. In some places, though, day camps are open with changes that could offer a roadmap to getting schools reopened safely. Maya Rodriguez has the story.
The great outdoors and the sounds of summer. Or rather, a socially distant summer.
When we're outdoors or keeping that social distance with the kids, they have a little more flexibility.
Ryan Amato is the recreation program supervisor for day camps in Falls Church, Virginia, one of the 5,600 day camps that usually operate across the country. This year, 62% of camps closed, but the ones that didn't underwent some changes.
So we really had to kind of, I don't want to say dumb down, but really minimize the activities we do and find things that we can do while social distancing and still keeping their interest.
That meant placing kids in smaller individual camp groups and trying to keep them outside as much as possible. But eventually, when the heat forces them to go inside, some of the changes become more obvious, like the use of this rope.
We do have a rope that we keep keeping them 6 feet when they're walking. They should have the mask on as well because it gets a little congested in hallways.
No, so there's definitely faces that I see every summer that are just not here.
Camp counselor Maya El Haj says that's not the only thing missing. So are the field trips, like to the pool. So instead, it's more classroom games and arts and crafts at a distance.
We're making it work. We're set up like these 6-foot tables so that they know where they're supposed to be.
But could these day camps with classroom setups serve as a guide to schools trying to reopen?
I think their challenges are a little greater, but I do think there's some learning that the school systems can learn from watching some of the summer camps in their jurisdictions.
Yet they admit their programs are geared towards fun, and schools have a more complex mission.
It's a learning environment, and they're going to be there for long periods of time. Once you get indoors, things do change a lot, and it really is important. It becomes that much more important for the mask wearing and the social distancing.
Which is where parents can make a difference, they say.
It starts at home with, talking about the importance of social distancing, the importance of wearing a mask. And when they can enforce that, it helps our staff do it here. It makes our job easier.
And potentially safer. In Falls Church, Virginia, I'm Maya Rodriguez.
Finally in the lineup, it's an unexpected effect of the pandemic. Advocates now warning those with little ones to be aware of them getting into hot cars at home. What safety measures they say you should take right now. The risks surrounding kids getting trapped in hot cars are changing. KidsInCars.org says typically in 1 year, 25% of hot car deaths happen when a child gets into a vehicle on their own. This year, that number has jumped to 55%. Most of these tragedies happen at home.
And during the pandemic, children are at home more hours of the day, more days of the week. And so naturally, we are seeing the number of home accidents and injuries with children increase.
The group's director, Amber Rollins, says a lot of these deaths have happened during nap time. Parents don't realize the child is missing at first because they get outside and into the car when they're supposed to be asleep. Rollins suggests doing everything you can to make sure toddlers can't sneak outside, like child-proofing or putting sensors on doors. Always keep your vehicle locked and the keys out of reach. Teach kids how to get out if they do get trapped. And if your child ever goes missing, cars should be one of the first places you check.
Just like you would check the pool in the backyard first, a vehicle is an environment that presents an imminent risk to children very quickly. You want to check the inside, the floorboards, and the trunk of all of the vehicles in the area immediately. And minutes can make a difference for children trapped in a hot car.
The group is also advocating for Congress to pass the Hot Cars Act. It would require all new vehicles to have systems that can detect a child or even a pet in a car when the engine is off. It passed the House this month. Do kids go back to the classroom, or is it class at the dining room table again? We're kicking off a series called Safely Back to School to give parents helpful information as they start the new year. Monday, we'll have warning signs that your child might not be ready for the classroom and signs that your child is feeling isolated at home.
And a good weekend to spend some time outdoors. Just don't forget that sunscreen. We're going to see quite a bit of sunshine here both Saturday and Sunday. That high temperature in the middle to upper 80s on Saturday, and then we'll get right around that 90-degree mark Sunday. Most of us, again, not going to see a drop of rain here as we go into the 7-day planning forecast. Then on Monday, some better chances for more widespread rain, and that brings in some cooler temperatures for much of next week with highs in the low to middle 80s. Thanks for joining us here at 5:30.